Today I'd like to talk to you about the multiplying bottles. This was one of the effects that I did when I first started doing larger shows. I was working with Denny Haney, going to Denny's shop several times a week, and he was really mentoring me, and the multiplying bottles was a standard in his show. I saw his show, I liked the effect, and I asked him about it, and he said he was doing the Ken Broke version, Ken Broke's multiplying bottles. You can get the manuscript from Stephen's Magic Emporium. I think you can get it from Penguin. Your local dealer can probably pick it up for you. But just as the Di Vernon cups and balls routine is pretty much standard for the cups and balls, everybody today either does Vernon's routine or builds upon Vernon's routine, just as it's standard. And by the way, Vernon also created the standard for the linking rings, the Symphony of the Rings. So if you're doing the linking rings, you need to read, at least read and be familiar with the Symphony of the Rings that Vernon created. And if you're doing the cups and balls, you should be familiar with his version as well. Well, in the multiplying bottles, the Ken Broke version is pretty much the standard. Most of the time, you're seeing somebody do the Ken Broke version or something very similar to it. I think Lance Burton even did it in his stage show. But that was the routine that he used. That's the routine that he encouraged me to pick up. I learned it. I did it for probably 15, 20 years. I did that routine. One of the problems that you're going to have if you're going to do the multiplying bottles, especially if you're working alone, if you're working with an assistant, no big deal. You do the routine, the assistant comes out, she picks up the table, she carries it off stage, and you're done, right? But if you're working solo, at the end of the routine, you've got a table full of bottles. Now what do? Because after the show, people come up to see you, right? They come up to talk, and you're interacting with people, so you really don't have time to clean up, and that's a real problem with this trick. Plus, it's a big trick. It takes a table about this size. Now, the way I solved this, and the idea is not original to me. It came from somebody else. If I knew who it was, I'd credit the person. What you do is you make a top for your table. And you take some, about an inch, maybe 2 inches of foam, put it in there to the top. And then when you're done, when you're ready to pack up, all you got to do is take this lid, set it over your table, put some bungee cords around it, and walk out the door. So if you're going to do the trick and you're going to do it solo, I recommend that you make a top for your table so that when you do the trick, and by the way, it's a great closer. So generally speaking, now I've done it in the middle of the show. I've never done it as an opening. But if you're going to close your show, it's pretty simple to just carry the table off stage, put the lid on it, strap it down, and come out and interact with your audience. So that's the way I did it. It took me a while to actually develop that lid. I don't do it anymore because I'm doing mentalism, right? So I really don't do it. But it's, I'll tell you what, the audience reaction will surprise you. So without any further ado, let you watch the effect performed in front of a live audience and pay particular attention to the audience reaction. Audiences love this thing. Take a look.
I have one last thing that I would like to show you. And this is a trick with a bottle and a glass. Now the idea of the trick is this. I'm going to cause the glass to travel from this side over here to over here where, whoops, I'm sorry, I'm using too many bottles. Anyway, the glass will travel from this side over here to over here where the bottle is, and the bottle will travel from this side over here to over here where the glass is. Now, if the glass is not the same distance from the bottle as the bottle is from the glass, the trick simply will not work. And that is perfect. Also in this illusion, I use two tubes, this one and this one right here. This one covers the glass, this one covers the bottle. Did you see them go? Well, they did, because you see the glass is now over here where the bottle once was, and the bottle is over here where the glass once was. Yes, that's true. Now the hard part is to get them to go back. And that quickly they've gone back, because you see the glass is now back over here, and the bottle is back over here. Now the way this works is something like that. Remember, this tube always covers the bottle, while this one, whoops, I'm sorry, I'm using too many bottles. Anyway, this one covers the glass, whoops, this one covers the glass, which immediately becomes the bottle and the bottle of glass. Now this too covers the bottle, while this one, whoops, I'm sorry, I'm using too many bottles here. Anyway, this one covers the glass, which immediately becomes the bottle and the bottle of glass. Just one too. When I do that, I cover the glass and immediately becomes a bottle. Cover the bottle and it becomes a glass. Of course, to do that, I need to use another bottle. Now, once again, I'll cover the glass and immediately becomes a bottle. Cover the bottle and it becomes a glass. Of course, to do that, I need to use another bottle. Now, sometimes when I do this illusion, I like to use 2 bottles, and sometimes I like to use 3 bottles, and sometimes I like to use 2 glasses. Now, when you see 2 glasses, very often you hear the word cheers. So, cheers, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. Now that is the Ken Broke routine. This right here, this is Morgan and West. So this right here is Morgan and West. If you've watched this channel for any length of time, you know that I'm a huge Morgan and West fan. I've spoken about them in the past, but they do a very unique multiplying bottles routine. They feature it in their act that is part of this book, Parlor Tricks, and then their routine is fully explained, and their rationale and the history of the effect is fully given in this book. By the way, speaking of history, the multiplying bottles was created by a person by the name of Arthur Felsman in the 1920s. It was a variation of the Passé bottles, which was invented in the 19th century, sometime in the 1800s. Passé bottles was basically effect where the bottle went from over here to over here where the glass is, and the glass went from over here to over here where the bottle is, and that's how the multiplying routine generally starts. You start with the Passé effect, and then you just multiply until you've got a whole table full of bottles. But Morgan and West have done some interesting work with it, and they have a critique of the effect that I think you should read. If you're interested in doing the effect, you should definitely pick this up and read it. I like the Ken Broke routine. I'd still do it if I was doing it today. Plus, the routine that they do is for 2 people. Now, they say you can do it as a solo performer, and I think you can, and it does have some advantages. But I really like their rationale and the way they talk about the routine in this book. So I just want to give that to you as a resource. Another resource, if you're interested in doing the routine, is Carissa Hendricks, a.k.a. Lucy Darling. If you pick up her Penguin lecture, she's done a video downloadable lecture. By the way, I'm going to do another video on the Penguin lectures, because if you're not familiar with them, this is an education. Back in the day, back when I was starting, you had to pray for a lecture to come around somewhere in your area. I mean, back in those days, this was before Denny opened his shop. Lou Walston used to have lectures come into the Funhouse Magic Shop, and I'd go down there, but I might have seen, 3-4 lectures a year. Now, when Denny opened the Magic Emporium, or the Denny Lee Magic Emporium, he used to have lectures sometimes weekly. During season, during the winter, fall, winter, spring, pretty much he had lectures pouring through there, and so you were able to go down. And there's certainly an advantage to seeing a live lecture. The advantage being that you can ask questions of the performer, interact with the performer. That's great. Now Penguin has a number of different offerings. They do have a live lecture format where you can tune in, you can type or email your questions via some sort of an instant message format, and Dan Harlan is usually the recipient. He'll read the message, or he'll read the question to the performer. That's great. I like it, but in this particular case, I don't think Lucy Darling or Carissa Hendricks, I don't think she did a live lecture. She might have. But one of the things that impressed me about the Penguin offering of her work, she has a number of characters that she does. She has the adult character, which is Lucy Darling, and then she also has a character that she assumes for children or family entertainment. And so you get both of these acts on this particular video, and she fully explains the acts. And one of the things that I saw her do is the multiplying bottles. And you know, just Carissa Hendricks is such a creative talent. I mean, she's one of the most creative people in our business today. So if you're not paying attention, really take a look at her work. She gets a hold of the multiplying bottles and she takes it to a whole new level. I would predict that once her work gets out, once people know more about it, they're more exposed to it, her routine, while it's based somewhat on the Ken Broke, her routine is probably going to become a standard bearer for the multiplying bottles once it's out there. So take a look at that, folks. That's the multiplying bottles. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have not subscribed already, please subscribe down below. Please ask your questions. Please comment. You know how much I enjoy. Those of you who comment regular, Blaze, you'll probably be the first one. I'll be looking for it. Thank you so much for your regular comments, and thank you folks that are new to comment. I welcome those. I've had a number of requests, by the way. One person said, would you do a video on bets, things like the 3-card Monte, the 3-show game, fast and loose? Some things, you know, if a routine is not immediately in my repertoire, it's going to take me a little while to put it together for presentation, even on this video format. One of the great things about a video format like this is if I make a mistake, I can go back and do it again. That's great. But I like to present polished routines if I'm going to present a new routine. Now, I could just put video links and show you somebody else doing it. But listen, the reason I'm saying this is that if you're making a request and I'm not responding immediately, or you don't see the video pop up immediately, it's because I'm working on it. Okay, I haven't forgotten about it. In fact, there are a number of people that have said, would you interview this person? Would you interview that person? Would you talk about this person? You know, if I can do an interview as opposed to just presenting on a person or on another performer, I'm going to do that. I've been reaching out to a number of people, trying to line them up for interviews. It's harder than you think. It really is. But I'm working on it. So I haven't forgotten your requests. I am working on those. And by all means, make a request below if you want to see something in this series. Chat me out. Talk to me. I love to hear your feedback. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day.